So I want to kind of lay out what we're doing this week, next week, the week after, because man, we had a bunch of people, not a lot, but like enough, that were just like, you spoiled the intro of the game and you spoiled the cutscene and stuff like that. And I was like, one, like we come on now, we said that we were gonna spoil up until the end of the Great Sky Islands, which we did, which is the first 4 to 5 hours of the game, and two, like brother, if the opening cutscene is a spoiler, I don't know what to tell you. Like, just maybe just don't listen to the episode if you don't have the game yet. You know what I mean? And that's totally
Exactly.
fine. Like, if you're not caught up to what we're talking about, you can put these episodes in the bank. You can listen to them later when you are caught up, whenever it's convenient for you. So, just wanted to throw that out there and let everybody know that we're going to be talking about some aspects of the game. Our spoiler policy is, when I say spoiler policy, I'm talking really more so like narrative and plot spoiler. Like we are going to talk about some things that we see, but we're also going to let everybody know ahead of time what we're going to talk about so that there's no surprises or there's no frustrated listeners. So today we're going to be talking very generally about the surface, about the depths, and about the sky. So kind of what our impressions are, maybe how some of the surface differs from Breath of the Wild, how some of the things that we've seen in the sky that we like, some of the things that we've seen in the depths that we like or that have just stuck out. So there could be, if you want to go in like completely blank, find every single thing yourself, like maybe come back later, but because we are going to be talking about some things that we found down there. So I just want to throw that out.
Yeah, I agree 100%. It's not like a story spoiler or anything, but it is spoiler for gameplay, like what you see in the game. And if you want to be blind, don't listen to this episode.
Yeah,
At least not yet.
or
Come
come
back.
back. Yeah, come back.
Yeah.
And so next week we're gonna be doing a little bit more story-esque kind of spoiler, but we're gonna be talking about the regional phenomenon next week, and we're gonna be doing it in two parts. So next week is gonna be Rito and Goron, and then the week after is going to be Gerudo and Zora. So we're gonna be talking about everything that those specific regional phenomenon quests encompass, and then and then we're gonna be we'll reveal more of like kind of what we're doing after the fact. But it's gonna be a lot of fun stuff, a lot of stuff to talk about. There is more meat on this bone than, I don't know, you could fathomably chew. So
Yeah.
it's gonna be a good couple weeks here going up ahead. But we are here today. Like I said, we're going to talk about our second week of full playthrough of Tears of the Kingdom, and our initial impressions of kind of the big three main areas here. And I guess, Al, we should start in the surface, because that's where like the meat really of the game is, right? Like, even though, and you and I guess specifically but like we had some trepidation about the world being the same and looking the same, and we can revisit that and see how how right or how wrong that actually was. But there certainly is some differences to this world so far, for sure. And I jotted down a couple that I've seen, and I haven't really went all the way around the world yet. So by no means is this an all-encompassing list. It's just kind of stuff that I've noticed on my playthrough so far. But I guess the first thing that we should talk about is kind of the new town, which is like a spot that you're going to find right away, which is Lookout Landing, which is where you meet Pyrrha again. And man, people are going crazy over Pyrrha.
Yeah, the craze for Pyrrha is, I feel like as soon as I saw her, I knew
Yeah,
that
I
it was
knew.
gonna be. Yeah, and I was like, okay, I could see it. I just think it's interesting. It's kind of funny. I've been trying to figure out how much time has passed in this game, and it doesn't tell you, at least not as far as I've seen.
You know what? Sorry to interject. God, I can't remember where it was. I want to say it's in Zora's domain. You do hear somebody says like Link helped Sidon vanish evil years ago. So it's been years
Right.
at least. Yeah.
Right, which we assumed because a lot of characters are older looking, and the more people I visit, the more NPCs that I come across or main characters I come across, you can clearly tell that it's been at least a few years, and that some of these people or races age differently than others. So it's like the Hylians are probably the slowest aging ones, because I'll still see children, but then you've got the Rito, who all the baby little Rito chicks are now older. So
Yeah.
anyways, with Pyrrha, it was obvious that she would get older, but she like got significantly older, and I think it's because she's still messing with her age a little bit,
Yeah.
still kind of tinkering with it. But yeah, she got significantly older. That was the whole point of all of that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
There's everything you probably think the internet has said about Pyrrha. You're probably right. It's and it's like Ganondorf was yesterday's news. Like here,
Yeah, now
say
it's
hi to
Pyrrha.
Pyrrha, and also that like absolutely sculpted dude in Kakariko Village whose name is escaping me, but he's like the Zonai researcher guy.
Yeah, I don't remember his name either, but I know who you're talking about. Yeah, he's pretty cool. I actually haven't spent a lot of time there yet, but I know there's some story there, so
You know what? Let's start with Kakariko, actually.
Okay.
We'll come back to Lookout Landing in just a second, but since we're talking about Kakariko, I agree. I haven't really spent a lot of time in there either. And I went in, and you get to see Peya, who is now, like, leading the village, which is kind of cool, because, like, you could kind of see her growth a little bit more maturity to her.
more confidence, I would say too.
Yeah.
Not like super uber confidence, but like she's coming into her own, and she's not as like stuttery or shy to talk to anymore.
Yeah, she's not like fawning over Link or anything like that anymore. But I haven't really made my way into Kakariko a whole lot, other than the rings, of course, that are all over the place. And I was trying to get close to them, and every time I do, they're like, "Hey, get back!" And
I love that it's that doctor guy from
Yeah.
he's like so full of himself being a doctor, and he's like nobody can do anything without my expertise, but he's the one who's yelling at you when you're getting close to the rings.
I actually don't know how to get to the rings. I tried to get my way up, and every time I got close, they were like, "Get away!" And I was kind of waiting for like a main quest to come up, to proceed. And maybe it does. I don't know, but like I didn't spend a ton of time because I was like distracted by the million bajillion other things that you can do. So I was like, I'll come back later, and I never really have actually went back to Kakariko since.
I agree. Like I think I was waiting because you start talking to people, and I think I was waiting for something to happen where it would trigger the
Yeah.
how you get close to the rings. But I haven't had that trigger yet either. So I was just like, oh, okay, I'll just move on. So that's what I did.
Yeah, there is a side quest that is associated with it where you have to kind of go around and find some stone slabs and take like pictures or something like that, or you read them or whatever it happens to be. I haven't done it a whole lot yet, so I haven't really gotten back to Kakariko. But other than like the rings, I think like Kakariko looks mostly the same to me.
Mm-hmm. I would agree, yes.
So anyways, yeah, so back to Lookout Landing. This is kind of what I was hoping for in this game, where it's like new settlements, new kind of villages that make sense in the context of the story, where it's like it does make sense that like you're rebuilding Hyrule and Hyrule Field and Hyrule Castle and stuff like that. There probably should be this settlement nearby for like construction purposes, stuff like that. So I think that the town itself is like really, it's like small but cool. And it was kind of like a nice way. I'm glad it was the first town that you saw, because I think it would have been a little bit less impactful if like you start off at Hateno or you start off at Kakariko instead of like starting somewhere new. Because I think that what this game struggles with, perception-wise, reality-wise or not, that's debatable, but definitely perception-wise, is like it's a lot more of the same. Where I think starting with something new was really important.
Yeah, I agree with that. I feel like I really like Lookout Landing because it feels like a central base that you can come back to. You have, a little bit of weapons there. You have a little bit of side quests there. You have a tower. Hestu hangs out there instead of in the forest. You have a little shop there. You have a mini stable. There's a lot of really like helpful things there for you as a good central location. So that's why I really appreciate it. It's definitely one of my like stops that I go back to a lot to sort of prepare for my next the next leg of my journey. So I really appreciate it, and it's in a cool location. It's in that like I don't know what it was called in the last game, but where they were doing the ceremony and Zelda was like blessing Link because he became the knight. So that's pretty cool.
Some like pretty cool characters that are there too. You've got Robbie hanging out there, which is funny because my first thought when I saw Robbie was like, why is this dude not in on the anti-aging serum that Pyrrha has?
It's so funny how the difference of him between Age of Calamity and this series.
I was just like, I feel like this guy should be all over that, and he's kind of like this this eccentric genius, and I was like, it seems like he would have been chomping at the bit to test this experimental potion on himself. So, so he's there, and you meet a new character as well. I believe it's a new character, Georgie. Is that her name?
Georgie. No, I think it's Joshua.
Joshua. Who am I thinking? I'm probably thinking of some NPC.
Are you thinking of the prodigy little research girl?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's Joshua.
I'm pulling up my... I tried to stall while I was talking there for long enough to pull up my character profiles, but I couldn't wait any longer, so I had to guess, and now I look like a fool. But, yeah, Joshua. So she's kind of interesting enough, I guess. Like, just kind of a fun enough character, a new character, which is kind of nice to see. Yeah, I don't know if... I can't remember if she showed up in Breath of the Wild or not. Do you remember her?
I don't. I can't recall her. There's a lot of NPCs that I've come across where I'm like, oh my gosh, I know you.
Yeah.
And which is a lot of fun, especially just to see how their life has progressed in the last years that have been happening between these two games. But I don't remember Joshua.
Which is fine, because she looks like she's like 10 years old, so it probably doesn't make sense that she's there. But there is some like pretty interesting stuff in Lookout Landing too, just like aside from like the story bits. Like you obviously have that what do they call that, like the big statue that you feed all the post souls to. I can't remember what it's called.
It's like a post statue. I think.
And it kind of looks like a lump of poop, if I'm being honest. It kind of does.
It does look really odd. I kind of understand, like, it's got like a point with like I think 6 eyes on it. But I wish they kind of did make it look a little better, because it does look like a lump. Dude,
do you know what I thought of when I saw this thing? Do you remember in Jurassic Park at the very beginning when all the guys stop and there's that sick Triceratops and there's like the mountain of dinosaur poop? That's what I thought when I saw this Poe thing. I was so like,
specific.
I was like, is there a Triceratops nearby? So yeah, it's got that in it, which is kind of cool, and it's also got the evil god statue, whatever it is, the one that you can swap your hearts and stamina. Yeah. So,
I actually love when you talk to him and he's like really eager to make a deal with you, because Hylia, after Hateno put him in a lake, and he is like, fish are really bad to bargain with, and I thought he was dissing the Little Mermaid.
Maybe he is, I don't know. You know what else Lookout Landing has, which I found out this morning, literally this morning, is it has a place where you can like add to your energy cells. Now, I've been playing 60 hours, and I was like, man, I'm tired of this battery running out. Like, surely there must be somewhere where I can expand it, because like I said last week, I skipped past like all the opening text at the beginning because I was like, okay, this is too much for my brain, too much to process. So today I was just like, God darn it, I'm tired of my machines dying halfway through. So I went and actually upgraded my batteries today, and the dude is right outside of Lookout Landing, so go me. Have you upgraded your batteries yet?
I've got 2 full batteries now.
Me too.
Because before I couldn't figure out how to do it until, and we'll talk about it when we get to the depths, but until you get to the first mine. So
right. Yeah, I need to go seriously mining for some resources there, because I don't have a whole lot. So yeah, Lookout Landing, I think like just as it's almost like a symbol of this game, like is very important, and it did a really good job of establishing something familiar yet different, which I think is like the entire running theme of Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I don't know what this says about me or about Tears of the Kingdom either, but I've been talking about this game and called it Breath of the Wild probably like a dozen times over the last week. Like talking to my wife and just being like, I'll be talking about Tears of the Kingdom, but I call it Breath of the Wild instead.
Oh.
So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if that's a me thing or maybe that just says something about this game. But anyways, let's shift our gears over to another spot that I think that most of us listening have gotten to. And again, if you haven't gotten to any of these places, just skip forward and you know, we'll take it from there. But getting to Hateno Village. This place is a little bit different. And so what I've kind of been doing, Al, and I don't know, tell me your philosophy here, but I've also kind of been I've almost been saving our my side quests until like you and I do our side quest episode. You know what I mean? Like, so like I've done a few, but like there's a really big side quest in Hateno Village with a mayoral election, and I want to save it, so I haven't done it yet. But but I've heard that it's amazing, and Yeah, it's just funny because like the whole town is covered in like mushrooms or whatever. Like, what did you think of our cute little Hateno, which is transformed into this metropolis of art and fashion?
Yeah. I do remember seeing Hateno in the late, like the very last trailer, and I was like, what is with all these mushrooms? But it definitely, like, early on you figure out what's going on with all the mushrooms. I don't think I have the same philosophy. I kind of collect the side quests, and then I'll go and do a bunch of them at once when I kind of am feeling a little bit like, oh, I don't want to adventure explore at the moment. Let me just do a bunch of side quests. So
Yeah.
that's what I do. I did finish the Hateno side quest, and it is pretty like hefty. And I think it's because like Nintendo is finally giving us side quests that feel substantial and meaningful versus some that are not so much so. So I'm grateful for that. But yeah, I loved the Hateno section, and we'll talk about it more with the other villages too. But I love that there's like something more and like more substance to these villages other than like a stop for you to, kind of meet a couple people and get some shopping done.
Yeah, I agree. And so speaking of villages too, like we'll save Goron City, we'll save Zora's Domain, all that stuff. We'll save it for when we actually do them. But yeah, like I feel like it was kind of charming to see Hateno in this like struggle between like the classic and modern, because it like this is maybe my own headcanon here, Al. But I was like, this is almost like very meta, like in a way, because like you have like a section of Zelda fans who are just like, I want my classic like Zelda games, like the straightforward Zelda games, and then you have like your Breath of the Wild fans who are like, no, this is the new way. This is like the new experience for the series. But actually, by the way, we skipped right over this, Al. By God, this game sold 10 million copies in 3 days. So first of all, I was handing out some W's last week, and I'm going to give myself the biggest, fattest L ever, because so much for my Zelda's percentage of this game selling less than half of Breath of the Wild. Wow, I look like a fool right here.
I honestly don't know how Nintendo managed that. I mean, like, I feel like it makes sense for our community to, like, everybody is playing this game, but, like, literally 10 million plus people are playing this game. I asked my brother and sister, I said, how many copies do you think this is sold in the first 3 days? And they only said 1 million, and they were blown away when I said 10. So like it's just insane how global this game actually is.
Yeah, crazy. So I mean, for all the people that love the classic formula, I gotta say, I think those days might be in the rearview mirror.
It's been said too that Ocarina of Time formula now feels restricting, and that open world Breath of the Wild / Tears of the Kingdom formula is the way to go for the Zelda series in the future. So,
you know what? I don't know if I agree with that. I do think that there's probably a happy medium or like a balance that you could achieve, but no question that open world yields results. No question about that. But going back to Hateno, I again, maybe it was my own headcanon, but I thought that was just kind of like, I don't know, interesting in a way that that there is this like philosophical clash there, when it's almost like there's been this philosophical clash in like the hardcore Zelda scene,
Yeah,
which most people listening to this probably aren't a part of, but you and I are.
Right. I guess I didn't associate it with Zelda so much as I do in today's day and age. It just was kind of funny when you do the side quests, you kind of learn who is in the traditional sense and who is in the modern fashion forward sense, and you're kind of like, this is what today looks like in real life.
Hey everyone! If you enjoyed this clip and want to see more of the ZeldaCast, make sure to head over to your favorite podcast platform of choice and subscribe. There are over 200 episodes in the vault that will provide you with hundreds of hours of Zelda content for you to enjoy. You can listen to us when you're on a walk, fighting Ganon, trying to sleep, whatever. And if you want to see these shows as they happen, make sure to head over to twitch.tv/TheZeldaCast, where you can watch our beautiful faces talk about Zelda every single week. Don't miss out, and we'll see you next time.